Hi guys, welcome to Jan's Crazy Life. So I'm basically made another video where I showed you how to make this cover, and today I'm going to show you how I made the inserts. So here's what the book looks like when it's all finished, and I'm kind of just going through and showing you, and here are the backup inserts. So the books come out, and then once you fill them up and whatever, you can take them out and store them and save them for memories and replace them. And I'm just showing you how they can be removed, and they're pretty simple to make, and then you can put new ones in. So that way all the work that you have on the cover you can always store. Now each book is different. This book only holds one insert at a time. Some books can hold up to 5. It just depends on how much paper you put in. But this video basically is around, I'm just kind of going you through and showing you the different setup and the different things I made, and just like going that's what I'm showing. But so basically I like the idea of like the traveler's notebook where you can put different notebooks, but it's a journal. So you keep your cover, like I love my cover. You can always change it up, make different books. They're fairly inexpensive. All right, so here's my own personal one. I've showed this in some other videos. Just wanted to remind you, that's that cover again, and I'm just showing you and talking about it. And here is my own personal one, and I glue everything in here. If I get something special in the mail, I stick it in there. I'd use it like a diary. I write my days. Like there's a picture of my little boy when he got his first glasses, and then I wrote about it. And this book comes out, and as it comes out, I can store it, and later, like, my kids can look back and be like, oh, now I know why she was so crazy. No, I'm just playing. So it's just for memories, and see, the cover stays intact, and then I can put different books in it. And this is my whole concept on the journal that I've created. I don't know anyone else is doing it. Here's the things you're going to need. That's a corner. It makes the corners round. A paper trimmer, some glue. This is that art glitter glue that I love. Some binder clips. And some paper and cardstock. So these are the different kind. I'm doing the mermaid beach theme. So I did different kind. This is a cardstock kind of base. It's kind of plastic. It's kind of different. And then, so it's just the paper, and I'm just looking, and I did about 6 sheets per 6 of the main sheets per insert, and then I add other things. So here are the 3 books that I'm going to make. This is the cardstock, so which are the cover of the inserts, like the little books that go in them. They're called inserts. So I am just getting them together, and I'm going to measure them out. So I'm going to measure about 1/4 of an inch away from the end, because you want the book to go in and the pages be a different size. So you'll see me lining it up, and I'm going to cut them all 3 at the same time, but I'm going up 1/4 of an inch and in 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to do my measurement. And I don't measure this like some people probably could. You probably could with a ruler. I just kind of eyeball it by marks. So I'm going 1/4 of an inch away from the edge. And then see how it's 1/4 an inch up and 1/4 an inch down. Because you want the pages to be shorter. The inserts to be shorter than the actual book. So what you're going to see me do now is get the paper trimmer. And I think I'm going to move the camera back. Okay. And I am going to cut out those marks that I've made. So you always want to cut the height first, because I've noticed it's easier, and then you can save more. I keep the paper because we use the paper to make the little pockets inside the inserts. So I am just going to cut it. I'm lining it up to the marks that I've made, and you'll see me, I'm measuring twice and then cutting, because it's better to make sure you got it right the first time. And then those are the cover of the inserts. So I'm just showing you. Now I'm going to corner my edges with this corner chopper. If you want to know more about it, I'll leave the information in the description below. I have a more detailed video that I did on these inserts, I'll leave that too. So now all the edges are are rounded, and that just is better on wear and tear, less of the book ripping or tearing. That's why I round the edges. So basically we're going to get the paper out, and I told you I did like 6 at a time, and I'm going to make sure all my paper is the right way that I need it to go. So when you're cutting it, it's all looking in the direction you want it to look. And I'm just counting to make sure I have the right amount. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top piece of paper and I'm going to use that to measure. Because this one, again, is the inside of the insert. So you need it to go 1/4 in and then 1/4 up. And then I see that the price of the paper on it. So I decided to flip that up because we can, less of that in there because you're going to write on this in your journal. So I go 1/4 of an inch in, 1/4 of an inch up, the same way as before, and the same thing. And that lets me know where I need to cut it. So I'm basically going to line all my pages up, and I'm going to cut them exactly like where I just where I just measured. So here I am lining it up, and you'll see me turn it. I'm making sure I'm turning it the way I want it to go. And and remember, this paper, you can use it. Don't throw any of this away. I use a lot of it in the books as we go along. But journaling cards for all kinds of stuff. I'm a big person in gluing in my journal, so anytime I need to say something in a certain place or need to add something, I use the scraps and just glue it on in there. So that's why there's not that many pages to start with, because you don't want the book to be super full, because you're going to glue a bunch of stuff in there and add stuff. So now I'm just going to corner all my edges like I did before, using that magical tool that I love so much. Not sponsored, hashtag not sponsored. But I love this tool. The only thing about it is cleaning it out. It's kind of fun. Well, I found a little tool that I stick in there. So now I'm just lining it up and measuring and making sure when I fold it, the pages don't come out. So I'm going to do that for all 3 of the other ones. That was for one insert. So I'm just counting again. No, I actually am making sure that it all goes. And now I have all of my books. Okay, you'll see me. It'll slide back. So now I'm starting to cut the paper for the other books, but now I have them all cut out. So remember them scraps we were talking about? So I love to put these little scraps into the journal. I like to put at least 3 in there. You can put as many as you want. Remember how I talked about gluing stuff in and adding stuff? Well, this little bitty paper in between the pages is perfect for that. So, it's, what I do is I'm just getting all my books together, and I'm basically going to put 3, I think in this book I put 3 in each one. So I'm getting them together, and you'll see me pick out 3 of these little scraps, and I am going to look, and then as I'm doing it, I'm noticing my paper's upside down right there. So I'm gonna turn that probably when I catch it. Oh, but anyway, so I put 3 of these in each one. Moving on, and now the book that I had made, the original pages, I'm getting that out too, because again, gluing stuff in, and I think it's really a good touch that you have a piece of the book in there. You can glue stuff, you can write in it. I was going to put that in there, but then I thought, this is so pretty, I could use this somewhere else. So it's just a great little thing. I think it's super cute. It gives a sense of I think it gives it a sense of the book that you actually took apart. I don't know, a little special touch, and you can write on that or glue stuff to it. I think it's really cute. So I guess if you're not, whatever you're taking apart, it has different things. I think some has pictures. I've done a kid's book that was super cute and added that in there. It's up to you. So now I'm doing all the rest of them, and then I think at this point I'm done, and I'm saving all that. So now all 3 of my books are pretty much, I have everything in them that I want before I assemble it. So I'm just looking, and that page is upside down. I finally figured it out. And what you don't want to do is take these and like straighten them up and down, because by doing that, you're pushing all those little papers, like those papers, down at the bottom, and you kind of want them to be in the middle a little bit. If they're bent or whatever, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you notice, I'm just straightening them with my hands, and then I'm going to kind of line it up a little bit, and then I'm going to bend them over. And I have a bone folder. If anyone doesn't know what a bone folder is, it's this little device that lets you crease stuff super easy and super simple. I'll link it in the description below, but I think it's super helpful. And I'm just creasing that edge real good, and then you'll see me do it to the cover as well. I don't do these all together because I have a tendency, I've learned to do them separate, because they kind of are separate. There's a cover and then an inside. And so I am just lining these up by hand the way I want it to go. And now you'll see me in a second get out the binder clips. And I think, I don't know what I was looking at. Maybe somebody was talking to me. So I'm putting the binder clips on it, and the binder clips are amazing. So when you put the binder clips, make sure your page it's not going to be completely flat, but kind of flat, because it sews better that way. And I do sew these inserts. If you want to see that, I have another video I will link where I do more description. So now I've taken all my inserts and I've sewn them with a sewing machine. You could probably do this by hand or with glue, but I personally have used a sewing machine because it's super fast and it keeps them together really well. So now that they're all sewn together, I'm just taking my binder clips off. Again, if you want to know how I sewed those together, I will link the other video. That video is kind of longer, but it has a lot more information. So that one is just on an insert, where this one talks about a specific size and a specific insert for a specific cover. So I'm going to take that art glitter glue and I'm going to run it along the edge where I have those stitches. And this just secures the stitches and makes sure they don't move around or come apart or anything. And then I've done all 3 at this point. And I just kind of rub it in really good. And it dries super quick and doesn't leave any marks. And then I am pretty much almost done with my inserts. I'm just going to do the inside. So at this point, what I'm doing is I'm seeing how many inserts can fit in this book. This specific book only holds 1 insert. So I'm looking and I'm like, maybe 2. And you have to add stuff too, so you need to give room to it and you don't want to stuff it. So I've noticed only 1 will fit in this one. It looks really good, so we're going to go with the 1. And I'm going to decorate the outside of them. So in that paper that I bought that I'm using for these, it had this little sheet. So I'm going to cut all these little things out, and here I'm back with them cut out. And I'm just playing along with it and just figuring out what I want to go on what cover. And I'm using that corner rounder again, and I'm going to round the corners because I know I'm definitely going to use that one. And that one was super cute. And then I love that, but it was too big for this journal. And I'm seeing where I'm going to put it. So I'm going to glue it down. And then this is where they're pretty much all decorated. And that's what I decided to go with that. And now I'm pretty much going to clear everything away. And we're going to work on the inside cover. The inside folders. So remember, we cut this off to make the insert. So this is what we're going to use for the pockets, and we need 6 total because there's 3 inserts and we have front and back covers. So if 3 times 2 equals 6. So you'll see me cut off a little bit because I know I measured it and it's a little bit bigger than I want it to be in the length. But I think I've told you this before, and if you're new to this video, 3 inches is a great size for pockets. And if you make them too big, it's hard to get stuff out. And if you make them like too tall, rather, it's hard to get stuff out. And if you make them too short, stuff falls out. So I've noticed 3 inches is a good size. And then with this 12 by 12 paper, you get 4 pockets out of it. So that's also a plus. And so what I'm doing is I know I need 6. So I'm cutting off a little bit of that. I'm deciding which one I'm going to go with. And then that was the extra 2 that I needed. And so I'm just getting those. And you'll see me in a minute. What I'm going to do is I'm going to corner around the bottom of these pockets. And the reason why is because I sit at the bottom of the book and it's less wear and tear. You don't necessarily need to at the top, but I always do it at the bottom. And it kind of fits in a little better. So you'll see me round the corners. And then I round the corners for all of them. So now we have all the corners rounded, and I'm pretty much trying to clear out all the stuff. And so now we're going to start gluing in our pockets. So I'm going to use these green ones. They're like a turquoise greens because the cover is already that color. And you want to make sure you're going right. See how I noticed my thing was, so we want to make sure the book is going in the right direction. So I am going to take the glue and only go around the 3 sides because since it's a pocket, you want the top of it to be opened. And then I'm going to make sure you get the edges really good. And then you don't need a lot of glue with this either because you don't want it spilling out or gluing other stuff down. So I am at this point going to do the back cover the same way. And now I've glued all my pockets and all my inserts. And now we're going to work on the pockets on the inside of the inserts because I always put a pocket in the middle too. And this is just to add things like if you have any journaling cards or you're somewhere like someone gives you a gift card, or I just like to write things down. If someone tells me, hey, you have an appointment at this and I don't have time to put it in my journal, whatever, I will write it on a little piece of paper and I stick it in these folders. Or if you don't have glue on you at the time that you're trying to save things from where you're at, you just stick it in your pocket. I don't know. I think the pockets give it a great touch. And then in my book, I write around the pockets and on the pockets. So I don't waste the space. I still write on it. And now I'm cutting out the pockets for the inside. It's the same process. You just measure and cut, and I want them at 3 inches. So there I've measured, and I need 3 of these because I have 3 inserts. So you'll see me cut out the 3rd one, and there we go. So I have all 3, and then I'm going to round those edges as well. And after I round them, I am going, so they're all rounded, and I'm just going to glue them in that pocket. I put little envelopes and different things. Again, this is how it looked in the end. And I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. I will link the other insert tutorial as well as the cover so you can see the whole process. I stick journaling cards and do different things, but I do hauls, different crafts. If you like this, please subscribe. Please give me a thumbs up. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. Bye, guys.